What's up? Welcome back, enchanters. We're back with another Mondo unboxing. I feel like it's been week after week after week. These have been sitting for such a long time, and I have been meaning to open these, and just life has been happening, right? I've just been busy with work, and so I became a realtor, and that's been consuming the majority of my time, but I'm still here for my collection, for y'all to do this unboxing of none other than the classic Cyclops 1/6 scale timed edition from Iron Studios. Now, before we unbox this bad boy, let me introduce myself. If the YouTube algorithm just so happened to have this video pop up in your algorithm. My name is Jean-Pierre Bon Jovi. I'm a collector, enthusiast, completionist, and a retailer of many of the pieces that I do sell on this channel, Mondo being one of them, but I do not carry Mondo pieces just because it's just not profitable for my shop at all. And we also, as retailers, cannot sell the time editions or the exclusives. They're exclusive only to Mondo, and as a result, there just really isn't that big of a demand for the unlimited versions. So yeah. Now this piece right here is an exclusive in the sense that it is only available in 650 units ever. That's all that they capped it on, and you can only have purchased this on Mondo Shop. This became available, I would like to say, around May or June, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I forget when. I believe it was like a month after. It was either May or June. I believe it was May of 2024, a month after the Cyclops was released from X1-97, and this is the classic version. Now, this takes inspiration also from the original brown Wolverine that they originally made, which is only exclusive to 520 units. I own that one, and I've done that review as well on this channel. And this piece right here, I opted out of. It retailed for 240 bucks. I was able to get it on eBay last week for only $242, so I just paid $2 more. So really excited about it, and I actually just got this in this week, so definitely wanted to unbox this. And I had a bunch of other Mondo pieces I haven't even opened, so I just reviewed all of those and this one and whatever. So without further ado, let's unbox this bad boy. And fun fact, they just announced this week, I'm gonna post an image right over here, they are recreating the brown Wolverine costume suit that's scaled to size. And so that one will be exclusive to 1,000 units, and it goes live. By the time you see this video, it's going to be long overdue, but it went live. Today is March 22nd, but on March 29th, Friday, it's going to be the WonderCon exclusive, available online to order. And it's the same Wolverine, but in the brown suit. It's going to come with additional features. It's pretty awesome. Like, I'm not going to lie, it's amazing. But I really do dislike that they made that decision because they had that mold and sculpt. I already mentioned that. I am not a reseller, right? But that Wolverine was, of all of the pieces, it was the only one with 520 units. So the resale value of that was going to skyrocket. It was already reaching comps for around 350, 325, which really isn't much from what you paid for the original. I believe the original one was like 175, but it nearly doubled in price. And again, I'm not a reseller myself, but like when you're, this is the one thing, and I love for y'all to chime in below, but I've been collecting this series almost since the inception of its release. I started collecting it 6 months after the Wolverine with the Wolverine on the Bed exclusive, the Comic-Con exclusive piece came out. That's when I started collecting this series. And so I've been purchasing every piece as it's been coming out. I think for the exception of Magneto, I also missed out on. I basically started collecting like a month after they launched the Magneto, the timed edition. And so like, I get what it is to like be the first to own something and be a part of the collective before it becomes such a huge trend. And so you buy it at MSRP, or you buy it a little over MSRP in a secondary market value, but you're one of the bigger, you know, you're one of the Kickstarters who really jumpstart this this collection. Now that it's become such, Mondo has become just one of the biggest names right now in the action figure community. It's not for everyone because they're 1/6 scale, and I promise we're going to open this, but I do want to share this rant. And so that Wolverine piece was pretty epic to own, and like you'd only ever see at most 2 ever on eBay being sold. And the fact that they are recreating this just because they have the new mold and sculpt, and I get it, financially, it makes sense for them. They're gonna recoup more money, you know, they just have to do a different paint. I get that, I really do get that. But there's still so many other classic X-Men we want to see. And it's incredibly unfortunate that they decided to do that. And now, again, a lot of people are saying, but, you know, if you're a completionist, why do you care? You're not going to sell it. It's not that, but there are other people who may want to sell it. And now that piece, like, there's people who just paid, like a month ago, $300 for that piece, not knowing that they were going to make another Wolverine Brown. And now you can purchase it for $245, I think is now what it's retailing for, the new one. And so these individuals are now out $300+, and they're going to get a figure that is undesirable and not quote unquote scaled to size. Now it does have, you know, it does have the cool feature of the electric, you know, claw and whatnot, and it does have Morph's portrait. But you could get those two features if you got the other Wolverine. So it is what it is. But yeah, that does suck. Communication gets to be better, and prioritization of what the next figure is. The one thing, like, I love Mondo, I really do. Love everything that they stand for. No one's doing what Mondo's doing. Customer service is exceptional. Their figures are freaking awesome. They don't always get it right, but they strive to always make it right, which is very important. So again, I just don't want it to be like, hey, look, we released a new figure, and now let's release 6 different versions of that figure just because we have this sculpt. Like, that then just becomes a money grab, and this isn't a $50 figure. It's not a $25 figure. It's not even a $150 figure. These are 200+ figures, and after shipping and tax and wherever you may be, these are over 260, sometimes to $320, y'all, for these pieces. And so, like, to ask for completionists who want to have every piece, and I know this sounds like a freaking first world problem, of like, hey, we know you love the brand, you know we know you're gonna buy it regardless, so let's just release a bunch of figures, the same one. It's gonna create nostalgia, but in a different variant, is upsetting. And so I really hope that that stops. I personally collect the Batman and the X-Men line, and there's an incredible group on Facebook, the Mondo Collectors group. Make sure to join it. I'm gonna link it below. And I was informed by one of the admin members, who's freaking amazing. He's always up to date, and Mondo's also in the group as well. But they're releasing about 5 to 6 X-Men pieces this year. That's a lot. And then I collect the Batman ones, which I'm assuming we're going to probably get like about 3 to 4 Batman. That's 10 figures. 10 figures at an average price of $275. It's almost $3,000 we're dropping just on Mondo. That's a lot of money, right? That, you know, it is what it is. But it isn't the only thing I collect. And I know for so many of you, maybe it's Marvel Legends, maybe it's other Hasbro toys, whatever it is that you collect, it adds up, right? And so I do think that companies get to really be mindful of how much they are, they can capture our pockets, right, and our attention, but also to be mindful as to how much are you consuming from that client a year before they get bored. Because they can do what they want, and you're going to buy and spend what you want, but guess what? All it takes is another brand, a new up-and-coming brand, to come into the toy market, collectible statue community, whatever it is, and recreate these IPs in a new format that's better, more affordable, cooler, more articulated, whatever, and people will lose interest in these, they will stop collecting these, and they will move on to something else. And I'm already seeing it, Mondo, in the Facebook group. So many people who, like, literally 3 months ago were showing their entire collection, they're excited, they have like 3 POs coming in, and now today they're looking to downsize and they're selling their entire collection. So collectors who we thought that were going to be a part of the community and collecting this subject for quite some time are just now like, hey, you know what? I really can't afford this, or I don't have this space for this, or my significant other doesn't approve of this. Like, there's so many, you know, I'm not here to judge what your experience is, but these are things to consider. And so if you can avoid as a company that deficit or that trend of people walking away, something to be mindful of, Mondo. And I do know hopefully someone listens here. I would refrain from that at all costs. That Wolverine, that Wolverine remake they made, that honestly could have been something they could have brought down the line 5 years from today, once we got all the other classics, right? You know, and again, I think that a good, for each subject line, I do think that a good release flow, because they have so many licenses they're starting to acquire. They have Street Sharks now. They got their soft vinyls, which don't get me started on that. I don't understand the hype over soft vinyls. I don't like the aesthetic of them. I think they're fugly. But hey, all the more power to you. Not judging, it's just my opinion. You have Batman, you have He-Man, which is such an incredible line. I've never gotten, I didn't grow up on He-Man. But that is such an extensive and incredible line. There's just so, you have, what is this? The dinosaur. Whatever. You have so many new releases coming out. TMNT, so many pieces. And so I think that if you limit it to 4 releases per line a year, I think that's a great, you know, 1 every quarter for every subject category that you're going to make, or, you know, every 2 months. Like if you have 12 lines that you're creating, every 2 months you create 4. I think that's a great balance. Or even 6 releases every 2 months of all your different lines, because not everyone is collecting every single one. I think that's a good flow. And just some feedback. Back-to-back releases are really hard for the collector community, even when you're doing the shop pay option, because you could pay these in 6 equal installments. But when you're paying 3 of these in 6 equal installments, it's like buying a figure every 2 weeks when that bill comes. So again, that's my rant, y'all. If you can, if you disagree, if you agree, I'd love to hear your feedback below. Let's just keep it, you know, keep it neutral, right? And yeah, let's get started with this unboxing of the classic Cyclops. So let's dive into this bad boy. I mentioned this in every video. The unicarton, do not throw this away. This is the shipper box, sorry, do not throw this away. This is where my number is 489 of 650. Again, I bought this on eBay from a seller. I can't stress this enough. If you're gonna buy this on eBay, please tell the seller to open the unit and to make sure that none of the pieces are damaged or missing. And then, yeah, just make sure you do that, because that would suck. Moving forward as well, here we have the actual art box. As you can see here, we have these, it's identical to the other Cyclops box. As you can see here, we have him in his classic outfit. It does say X1-97, which is branded and marketed now because this is a Disney IP. All X-Men related items must have the 97. It started, I believe it's, I'm not sure, I think it started with this figure. Yeah, I think it started with this figure or with Rogue, I'm not sure. But now all pieces will say X-Men 97. Now this, again, takes inspiration from the classic version of Cyclops. I think the first X-Men game that came out for, was it Nintendo? Or Sega? I forget what system it came out for. So it does take inspiration from that game, from the classic comics, obviously, as well. So really excited that we have this, and that they're gonna keep making it. Now, I do collect, and I will unveil every single classic piece and all the timed exclusives. If you've been following me, you know that I do that. And at the end of this video, you can watch the previous Cyclops timed edition unboxing. I do not collect the Uncanny version. So there's the Uncanny Magneto, Omega, and Rogue. Those have the metallic paints. I don't collect those. Just because they're pretty badass, but it's just a different paint, and that's just absurd. I can't collect those. And the reality is, like, I don't see that line. I don't see the Uncanny line being released for every single figure either. It's just a select few. This I know they're going to make every classic, and I know they're going to strive towards, obviously, making the animated series from 92 and 97. So there you have it. This is the art box itself. It's identical to the Cyclops. It says X-Men 97 on the back. Here are some still images of the animated series. And there you have it. Now let's open this bad boy up. It does have Velcro. It's going to have the, talks about Cyclops. It's literally the same art box description as the timed edition. Nothing changes. And of course, there we have the Cyclops. Now I know it looks blurry. Let's open this bad boy up. So I'm going to open this up, and we're going to come in closer, as I do with all my videos. We're going to show all points of articulation. I'm going to give him my review, 1 out of 10. Show you every single piece that comes with this. Now, This unit itself it's just a limited edition. It's not a timed edition. This is considered a limited edition of 650. That's it. So everything that comes with this is only with this. There's no other version that's going to come out of this. So there's not going to be an unlimited version to this. This is just an exclusive. It's a much more niche audience that will collect or finds the classic version of these figures to be their favorite. And it's not the entire lineup. Like, we're not getting a classic version of specific characters like Jubilee. She didn't exist in the classic comic books. So it's just a select group of like the original first class of X-Men we're gonna get in this awesome limited edition variant. Alright. So this is, yes, there's two separate pieces to this. Do we have tape here? We sure do. I knew I needed that box cutter. There we go. And let's take this out. All right, cool. So you're going to get two different pieces here. You're going to get the bottom base. Literally a lot of wasted plastic here. There's just two visors and the standing base. And you are going to get Cyclops. Now I'm already noticing some really fun things about this one versus the other, which is pretty rad. But we're gonna dissect that there, because we're gonna dissect it when we do the up close and personal on this. Some things I already know about this is that the actual optic beam is a clear resin, where the other one was more of a solid matte resin. So it's a different color. And with this one, you are getting the big blast that was exclusive only to the timed edition. I love that we're getting that with this. And you're also getting the unmasked version of Scott, which was also exclusive to the timed edition of the X1-97 Beast. Really epic. That's pretty awesome. And you're also getting the shades, which was also exclusive to that version as well. So that is pretty freaking rad. I love that. So if you did miss out on the timed edition and you still wanted to get this, you could. And you get those exclusives that you could swap with that. So that is an option. You're not going to get the leather jacket. You're not going to get the cyborg head. But again, that's pretty awesome to note. I will also say that when this piece released with only 650 units, it was up for pre-order for about 3 days. It didn't sell through after 3 days. I think the time being is, again, I think that's indicative to what's happening right now, is Cyclops released a month prior, the time edition. Everyone jumped on that, and Cyclops sold, I think it sold like within about 6 to 8 hours. I think like 6 hours it sold, so it was up for a while because it was 1,500 units. I think everyone expected it to be like the Rogue release, where it just sold out completely within 4 minutes. No. It was up there for a little longer, and then this was up for about 3 to 4 days. I think it was 3 days. 2 to 3 days. I could be wrong. It was probably up for 2 to 3 days. And only 650 less units, but I feel like, again, people were like, look, I just dropped 245. These retailed for 245 or 240. 240. These retail for 240. So people were like, look, I just dropped 240 a month ago. I'm not going to drop 240 for another Cyclops. So it was up there for a while. And now you can find this on the secondary market for around 275. I was able to get this at 242, which was awesome, but I have seen it go for lower. So again, not that many people are huge fans of these. They just don't have the same, it's not that same following as the 97 series. Something to note, but if you think about it, these are much rarer because they are limited to only 650 units. That's the second smallest run size, right after the brown Wolverine variant. So this will be much more challenging to find in the future. So putting that out there as well. So let's go ahead, take this bad boy out, and review the articulation and all the additional accessories to this piece. All right, y'all, here we have it. I mean, just an incredible figure. Not as many accessories as the timed edition from the X1-97 Cyclops, but nevertheless, phenomenal figure. Let's talk about all the pieces you're gonna get. So you are gonna get the Optic Blast. And again, the Optic Blast is this clear red resin. It is not that matte pinkish red resin. So really kick-ass feature, and you are getting the massive Optic Blast. You're getting the Optic Beam. You are getting the sporadic 4-shot beam as well. Just amazing. Now again, this one was exclusive only to the time edition Cyclops, but now you're getting it in this format too. So pretty awesome. If you missed out and you want to get this one, you can find this at like $265, $275, and you really want this, I'm pretty sure you could 3D print it. But if you really want it, something to consider, right? So there you have it. So you are going to get that. You are going to get the unmasked portrait. Now again, this is also came exclusive only to, this one came exclusive only to the time edition as well. So I love that you're getting that, and you're also getting the shades as well that go with this. So that is awesome. Again, if you didn't miss out on the time and you really wanted that, this is an option, just putting it out there. You're gonna get all 3 visors. You're gonna get the one that you can, it's the more malleable, soft, like vinyl one that you can have him hold in his hand. You are going to get the visor for you to add the optic blast to. So any of these optic blasts become compatible. So you just add the optic blast as such, and then you can swap. I'll do that right now for y'all. If you are curious, this is the optic blast that you get, the visor that you get, sorry, not the eye visor you're gonna get as a default. Let's remove this. Okay, it's proving to be a little challenging to remove. Sorry, we're doing this off camera. Come on, buddy. Wait, what did they do? Glue you on? I don't know what's going on here, but feels like they glued these visors on. All right, there you go. It is a really snug fit. By the way, that's what the portrait looks like without. It looks awkward. So let's put on his visors. And again, that's what it's gonna look like. It's a really snug fit, but it really is made so you can get that long projection, and this isn't gonna curve, bend, or come off, which was, I'm glad that they did that. So yeah.